We use them in almost every single sentence we speak. But have you ever really, stopped to think about English verbs? Turns out they're hiding a few secrets. So today, let's pull back the curtain on the hidden rules that really make them tick.
I mean, this is the classic question, right? It's something every English speaker just knows deep down, even if we can't explain exactly why walked just sounds right. But good? It makes you kind of cringe. So what's actually going on here? Why does one verb follow a nice, clean rule, and the other one, well, it just does its own thing?
Okay, so to really get the rule breakers, we first have to understand the rule followers. Let's start in the calm, orderly, and, let's be honest, kind of boring side of the English language. It's time to meet the regular verbs.
To put it simply, regular verbs are your best friends when it comes to grammar. Seriously, they follow one super simple, elegant rule. To make them past tense, you just stick a D or an ED on the end. And that's it. No tricks, no surprises. They are the absolute foundation of predictability.
And you can just see how beautifully this works. You watched a show yesterday, you watched it. You ask a question, you asked it. Cook a meal, you cooked it. This simple ED rule just brings this amazing sense of order, and it applies to most verbs in English. But, and you knew there was a but coming, it doesn't apply to all of them.
All right, and now we're crossing over to the other side of the tracks. Welcome to the wild, totally unpredictable world of the rule breakers, the irregular verbs.
And wow, this slide really captures that whole conflict, doesn't it? On one side, you've got that nice, orderly, predictable path. On the other, you've got the wild cards, irregular verbs. They don't seem to follow any set pattern. They just thumb their nose at that simple ED ending. They are the true renegades of grammar.
It just feels like pure memorization, doesn't it? Like you have to drill this long list of exceptions into your brain. But what if I told you it's not complete chaos? What if, hiding inside all this mess, there are actually secret patterns, little gangs of verbs that follow their own hidden rules?
So let's start our little code-breaking mission. Our first group, I like to call them the vowel swappers. Now, these verbs might look totally unrelated at first glance, but they all share a secret handshake. Okay, look closely here. Begin becomes began, then begun. Swim becomes swam, then swum. Are you seeing it? The vowel in the middle is shifting. A lot of them follow this cool little I to A to U sequence. But even a verb like draw, which becomes drew and drawn, is based on the same idea. It just swaps out its vowel instead of adding ed. Once you spot this family resemblance, they suddenly don't seem so random anymore, do they?
Now for our next group of verbs that are all secretly working together, they've formed what we can call the in alliance, and they have a very distinct calling card that totally gives them away.
The dead giveaway for this whole group is right there in that third column, the past participle. Grow becomes grown. Speak becomes spoken. Drive becomes driven. See? They all unite under that EN flag. It's another one of these hidden rules that starts to bring a little order to all the madness. Okay, this last group is maybe the strangest of them all. Let me introduce you to the unchanging rebels. Their secret rule? Well, it's that their rebellion is all about consistency.
So here we see a totally different kind of pattern, the pattern of no change at all. Yesterday you cut the grass. Today you cut it. You have already cut it. Cut is always just cut. And it's the same for hit, set, and fit. They're so rebellious they just refuse to change whatsoever. And that stubbornness, that actually becomes a pattern you can learn to recognize.
All right, so we've identified the vowel swappers, the EN alliance, and the unchanging rebels. We've started to find some method to the madness. So, now it's your turn to put this new detective work to the test.
So, what do you think? Have you cracked the code? Let's see if you can take what we've learned and apply it to some other super common and very old irregular verbs.
Here you go. Take a look. We've got bring, drink, think, tell, eat, make, and beat. Go ahead and pause this for a moment and see if you can figure out their past and past participle forms, and maybe even which gang they belong to. Okay, you ready? How'd you do? Well, drink is a classic vowel swapper, right? Drank, drunk. Eat and beat are part of that eaten alliance. Ate, eaten, beat, beaten. And verbs like bring and think, brought, thought, they show us yet another pattern. See, the more you look, the more order you start to find. All right, before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last thing to think about. Consider verbs like go, be, have, do. They're some of the most irregular, most chaotic verbs in the whole language. So why? Why are they also the words we use more than almost any others? Well, the answer is actually hidden deep in the history of English. These are some of our oldest words. They're like fossils from Old English, from a time when verbs changed internally, kind of like that vowel swapping we saw, long before the simpler ed rule came along for newer words. These verbs are irregular because they're the originals. And it's just this powerful reminder that language isn't some set of rules made in a lab. It's a living, breathing history book with secrets hiding in plain sight. So what will you discover next?